All right, so it's She Says with Julie Berliner. Julie, thank you for dealing with me as I'm under the weather, as you can hear.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so it's a nice kind of time to check in with you and just get your general thoughts, right? Playing the part of industry veteran is going to be Julie Berliner. Here we are, late 1970. That's actually Blues Brothers from Briefcase Full of Blues, but I am a little bit off. We're in late 2019, making our way into 2020, and there
Hmm.
are a few issues that have come up. And namely, number one, without question, is vape.
Hmm.
Some are calling it a vape crisis. Some are calling it a vape opportunity. There have been various reactions from banning it wholesale, along with anything that you can vape in Massachusetts. There are a couple of other states that have done other things. Oregon, interestingly, banned everything but full spectrum, simple cannabis.
Hmm.
Colorado has a different approach.
Yeah, Colorado. I'm really proud to say that the approach they're taking is understanding the data truly before making any rash decisions. I think a lot of states currently and in the past have made some pretty knee-jerk reactions to various very serious issues.
Hmm.
But Colorado is certainly taking the approach of let's understand the issue here, let's really understand it, and then make decisions so that we're not just, you know, for optical reasons saying that we've done something. So Colorado, I'm on a committee that is hosted by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. So this has been a really big topic for us recently, and something that I learned last week that was really kind of a light bulb moment for me is that these neighboring states, the ones that are either banning it or are just totally illegal, they're experiencing more cases of these vaping illnesses than Colorado. So it's interesting to see that. I think with anything, you create an illegal market by banning something, and then the problem could get potentially worse, and then there's no control that anyone really has over it.
Well,
So
that's just
Colorado may be
how are
learning
you
from experience.
solving prohibition by legalizing? How do you solve something that is legal? It is not by prohibiting it.
Right. There's unintended consequences to doing that I think Colorado has now become aware of.
Yeah. So, there it is, right? Let's do the research. Let's find out what the ingredients are. Let's make sure that, retailers know what to do and how to communicate with the public. Let's make sure to
Hmm.
be communicating with the public. Let's make sure that manufacturers are, going back and looking at their products and seeing what they can change. I don't think you have a vape product, correct?
We don't know. Edibles are one of the few things right now. I mean, it all started with edibles in 2014 when legalization happened. Edibles were very, scary, and no one really understood intuitively how they would be affected by an edible. But now it seems like edibles the only predictable method of ingesting it.
Well,
At least for now.
I'm a flower guy, right? But that's because I'm ancient. All right. So what would you do if you did have a vape product? If you don't mind, doing the if then game. What would
Hmm.
you be doing? How would you be communicating with customers, to the state, et cetera?
That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Uh, if I had a vape product, if I offered a vape product, like anything, I mean, that I've done over the past 10 years, I'd be working very closely with state regulators to understand the best way to be communicating with my customers and the end consumer about this product. So it's something I do anyway. Like I said, I work closely with the CDPHE, and they are taking this incredibly seriously. I know that my colleagues who do offer vape products are as well. Um, I'd say that would be my approach,
All right.
working with the people that can make a difference and inform and get the messages out.
Open, honest, deliberate,
Always, yes,
together, communal.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. Let's turn the page to the Safe Banking Act.
Mm.
Did pass the House. And so, of course, we want to congratulate your congressman, Ed Perlmutter, as well as all of the hard work from all of the advocates and the activists that, have pushed standalone cannabis legislation across the finish line of federal, legislation now on the books.
Mhm.
So that is
Right.
the thing. It did happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. This is all steps in the right direction. I think
That's
for
it.
now we're all operating, saying, business as usual. But it's, we're moving in the right space. When I started Sweetgrass 10 years ago, there was they wouldn't even talk about it. Like the fact that the conversation's even happening really is amazing.
And that is, I said, that said, I jumped the gun there. The evolution of conversation is remarkable. In 2014, when we were having the conversation with Ed Perlmutter, he was basically looking at the industry when I did that event in Colorado and
Mm-hmm.
saying, just stay strong, just keep going, just keep going.
Yeah.
And then, 5 years later, we get that bill passed in one house.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that, and with all due respect to everyone and all the hard work, it is kind of business as usual for you guys, right? 280 not solved, and
Yeah, 280 is basically it's still it's same as
on the
it's always
books.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe if banks start to act differently after, it might pass the Senate, great. But really, 280 is really where we need help. If we've been managing and operating a cannabis business for 10 years, we'd have a bank type of thing.
Precisely. Yeah. I do have a bank. There's a few in Colorado that are willing to work with cannabis businesses. But it's cost prohibitive. That's the truth. So unless, until 280 really is solved, it's not a sustainable way to run a business.
Okay. Unless it is. And
Yeah.
this is the kind of final piece we wanted to talk about. Big picture, cannabis industry, you see the big kind of Canadian companies having a tough time hitting on, what they had projected. Actually, some are, but definitely some aren't. And it feels like the air has been let out of the balloon as far as the public markets are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of look back at Colorado, and here comes to 1090. We voted it in. It's ready to go. And here
Mm-hmm.
it comes.
As of next week, actually, Colorado licensed business holders will be able to accept out-of-state money and even public money. So what you'll see in the next few months and into next year are Colorado companies going public and having the fuel behind them that they haven't had in the past, which is really exciting. I think one of the things that has held Colorado back has been the fact that we haven't had this, access until now.
What else? This would be the main thing, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's going to be a time of change for sure in Colorado for Colorado businesses. But I'm excited because I think, there's very few that are public or are going public that actually have operational experience in this industry, that have actually proven their process, been in business, made money, even in light of 280E
for a decade.
It's rare. Exactly. It's really rare. So for those kinds of companies to find, which is Colorado, to finally have the ability to go public and use what they've learned, that's where I will be putting my money when the time comes. It's exciting.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering where the Berliner coffers were going to be placed. So now we have an answer. Julie, thank you so much. Very much appreciate your time as always. Can't wait to speak to you again. Hopefully I'll be feeling better.
Yeah, hopefully. See you soon.